I think there's a natural tendency, especially in the West, to see personal change as a targeted thing, something we identify, pursue, achieve, and then reap the rewards. This is a sort of way of thinking about change that's perpetuated in our stories, in our myths, the way we raise our children. And it reinforces an important point of agency, which is nothing will change if you do nothing. There's truth in that. What I've been learning, though, is that there's a complementary way of thinking about change that is, I think, as important and not superseding the targeted mode, but rather complementing it and making it whole. And that has to do with letting go. What I mean by this is to say that if we have a problem in our lives, in our life, something that's not going well, something that we can identify a way that it could be better. Yes, we need to identify what the change we want is. We need to break it down into smaller steps. We need to target those smaller steps, make atomic progress towards them. And then after we make those steps, this is where it turns. And this is where the compliment comes in. Because rather than achieving a goal and reaping the reward, I think the way the most effective change for the human self is truly made is when we make the steps, get to the goal, and then let go of the results. Let go of the results. And I think that adds up to, for me, the idea of making space. Making space is about attracting the right change to you rather than pursuing and capturing it. You're not hunting for the right thing. You're sort of flirting with it. You're putting out feelers. You're trying things. You're seeing what comes back to you, modifying your approach. And you're paying attention to what comes back to you rather than single mindedly and with a narrow focus going for the one thing you've identified with your insufficient amount of knowledge and experience, as we all have. I've been going through a lot of changes in the last year and trying to make space to bring in the right thing. And I've seen this at work firsthand. It took a lot of really long nights and deep thought and surrender to really understand just how tightly I was hanging on. Um, when I walked away from gaming back in August, 9 months ago, I had to run headfirst into all the feelings I'd been using video games to mask up and cover and prop up for 2 decades. That was hard. Um, but what was harder was to, after having identified those feelings, allow them to exist, permit them to go through me, to live in them, to live through them, to really allow myself to be as lonely as I felt. I got into the habit of going on long walks at night, always at night. There's something about that. I listened to an audiobook of a summary from St. John of the Cross of his poem, The Dark Night of the Soul, which I found to be of immense comfort. And it talked about how, to really brutally summarize a beautiful work, how to how to invite wisdom by embracing and choosing to be without, choosing the lack, choosing, one might say, the suffering. And wisdom is what we get from the sacrifices we choose. I was hoping real hard that I was wising up during this time because I was sacrificing what felt like a lot. I wasn't just giving up video games. I also was letting go of a 10-year marriage. My former partner and I decided after that back in the summer that it was time to start ending our marriage, that we were ready to move on. We each felt strong enough as people to have our own lives. Um, we'd already been living our own lives for quite a while, but truly making that final separation, that last separation, took a lot of energy and effort. Even though we've both been friends to each other throughout the process and remain friends, um, that was a huge, huge effort. And I remember waking up one day in my new apartment with my new car parked outside, the divorce papers finalized and off and just on a timer before they're done, and saying to myself, wow, I've achieved the change. I did it. I did it. Where's my reward? I started looking for it. Okay, when's life going to start getting good? When can I start dating again? When is the universe going to start recognizing all the amazing changes that I've made? And that brought with it a sense of desperation and a sense of seeking, of looking. And I think that that naturally tends to repel people. It's an anti attraction, that desperation, that needing, that want, the cloying thing. You've all, no doubt, had interactions with people who desperately wanted your attention, and they're the people you want to least give your attention, right? So I had to pass through another few nights, another few dark nights of the soul here, and realized after pushing through that big change, after targeting, identifying, and pursuing that change, the thing that I had not done was let go of the results. That's what I had not done. Yes, I changed my life. But when you change your life and are locked in on it going a very certain way, that's I think, one of the most certain ways to ensure that you will not get what you wanted. But as soon as I let go, as soon as I said, okay, what will be, and what is okay. And I have everything I need here and now. As soon as that happened, the universe turned the corner on me. And something really cool happened. Maybe I'll tell y'all more about that in another conversation. But what I wanted to share was, of course, a little bit of an update from me. I've been away for a long time. And as you can see by my background, I'm in a new place, a new space that I've made. But this time has taught me a lot. And I really felt compelled to pass on this idea of making space, of not allowing ourselves to lock ourselves into a specific conception of where our life will go and expecting it to come to us once we go through the steps. And how important it is to let go of the results of all of our sacrifices. And only in the letting go of those results, only in the letting go of that thing that we want so dearly, will it come to us, I think. At least that's what I've been experiencing. And yeah, I think that's the thought. I've asked myself for a long time if I'm done with this. In recent days, I've come to an answer, and it's no, I'm not done. I took some time away and I needed it. But I think I'll be back. What I experienced going through over 2 decades of submersion in virtual worlds and video games in order to escape feelings of loneliness and alienation is a very common thing and increasingly more common today. I couldn't, with good conscience, contend with, wrangle it, and find some measure of peace and not pass it on. And I hope that what I've shared today helps you or helps someone you love. Brothers and sisters, until I see you again, please take good care of yourself and be good to each other.